Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I am Biggie Sweats and I know I've been gone for so long, but it's good to be back. I've been playing WoW at a much more casual level and taking my time with it, and I'm back to bring you guides on every single class that you can imagine, every single spec. We're going to build them up. I'm going to teach you how to play them, how to prep them, and what you can do to be the best you can on each one. Now these are going to be more beginner guides and are going to help some people really learn how to get into the start of their class so they can start pushing 15s or heroic raids, whatever they need to do. It feels so good to be back. I hope you guys have been amazing. Thank you for staying with me this whole time. Let's get to blasting these uploads. Now, as we are heading into season 2, we are only 2 weeks in, and finally builds, items, and everything you need to know has really settled down, so we can go into detail and talk about what you need to get the best results. And of course, we are starting with the wonderful rogue. I'm going to be doing Outlaw Rogue in this video today, showing you everything you need to get this up to scratch. As most of you know, this is my main, but I'm slowly drifting away from this. I'm playing a lot of Ret Paladin at the moment, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop playing Rogue. This is one of the most alt friendly seasons there has been in any expansion, so use this to level, gear, and play whatever you like. So let's talk Rogue. How is Rogue at the moment going into season 2? Now, Outlaw has lost some of its former glory. Yes, it is nowhere near as good as it was at the very start of season 1, but that does not mean it's a very suitable class for dungeons and mythic plus environments. Now, it still holds a very high DPS on average with passes across the board in Mythic Plus and in raiding. However, it is beat out by some classes with what they bring to the table, their utility, and just how they are played. If I was to put this into some sort of tier system, I would place it in high B tier for mythic dungeons and mid B tier for raiding. Now, we're going to jump straight in and talk about stat priority, gear, everything you need to get this ready for you to slap. Before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe below. Let's blow this channel up this year with our WoW content. I aim to bring you more news, more guides, and everything that you want and need to just have some fun and play your classes with a lot of raw. Now, as always, let's start the video with some viability coming from the Outlaw Rogue. Now, Outlaw Rogue has a very strong AoE and really easy cleave. It is a highly versatile class, but also very easy to play, with its AoE being literally one button and then a normal rotation, and its single target rotation being only a few build-up points and spending them. They have great survivability with cheat death, with Cloak of Shadows, evasion, feint, and much more. And they bring some heavy utility to the table with their poisons affecting mobs, Shroud of Concealment, Crimson Vow. They have so much going on that they can bring it to the table with mythics, but it's more of a selfish class thing that you're bringing to the table, bar Shroud of Concealment. Now, they're not as strong as they used to be, that is for sure, but they are still a very good class for Mythic Plus. Let's start with something easy, our stat priority for Outlaw Rogue. Now, if you don't know, stat priority is an order in which you should be focusing on your stats in game. So with Outlaw Rogue, you're going to be looking at versatility is equal to crit, then mastery in haste. So you want to start by bringing your versatility in crit as high as possible, getting them around the same level, and then focusing on some mastery in haste. Haste is always a juicier thing to have because it allows your energy regeneration to be a little bit better. So always have a little bit of haste, but you really want to focus on that versatility, that crit as your main stuff. Everything I say will be up on the screen for ease of use. So how about we talk about the most important thing of any class right now? Let me just shrink myself down so you guys can see everything. Right, let's talk talent trees and what you're going to be going for dungeons and raids. Now, the raid is so single target heavy, bar one boss. But first, mythic dungeons. So your AoE environments, no matter what the week, is going to look something like this. On the left side of the tree, we have our class talents. So these are available to all 3 specs of Rogue. Let's jump straight in. So row 1, we're going to be taking Shiv, blind, and sap. In row 2, we're taking evasion, cheat death, and cloak of shadows. In row 3, we're taking anthropic poison, tricks of the trade, and shadow runner. In row 4, we're taking fleet-footed. We are taking subterfuge. In row 5, we are taking deadened nerves and tight spender. In row 6, we are taking 2 points deadly precision, 2 points Thesis Agility, and 2 points Night Stalker. In row 7, we are taking Vigor, we are taking Acrobatic Strikes, and we are taking Improved Ambush. In row 8, we are taking 2 points Lethality, 2 points Alacrity, and 1 point Soothing Darkness. In row 9, we are taking Cold Blood, we are taking Deeper Stratagem, we are taking 2 points Find Weakness, and finally, we are taking Shadow Dance. This side of the tree hasn't really changed up at all compared to Season 1, so jump in, have fun with it. You can test some survivability stuff, some extra DPS stuff. You can really have a little play in these bottom sections of the tree, but if you want a solid build, then stick with this. Now, the right side of the tree, this is the Outlaw specific section. You only get access to this if you are playing Outlaw. Now, in row 1, we are going Opportunity and Blade Flurry. In row 2, we are going Grappling Hook, Weapon Master, Combat Potency, and Ambidextrity. In row 3, we are going Combat Stamina and Adrenaline Rush. In row 4, we are going Ruthlessness, Restless Blades, and Fatal Flourish. In row 5, we are going Heavy Hitter, we are going Devious Stratagem, we are going Roll the Bones, and finally Quick Draw. In row 7 is Audacity, Loaded Dice, and Dancing Steel. In row 8, we are taking Triple Threat, 1 point Count the Odds, just the 1, 2 points Improved Gouge. In row 9, we are taking Blade Rush and Precise Cuts. In row 10, we are taking 2 points Taken by Surprise and 2 points Find the Hammer. And our final talent is going to be Hidden Opportunity. Now, these are your Mythic Plus talents. Use them as you will. You will always see very pumping DPS using these talents. That is a promise. Now, the new raid, absolutely fantastic, by the way. The Race to World First was phenomenal to watch. A little bit short, could have been a little bit longer because of all the hype. I absolutely love watching it, but still amazing nonetheless. Now, the raid is primarily single target, as we said, so your talents are going to look very different to what we just shown. Now, let me go into it. On the left side of the tree, again, class, all 3 specs have access to this. We're starting row 1 with Shiv, Blind, and Sap. In row 2, we're taking Evasion, Cheat Death, and Cloak of Shadows. Row 3, we are taking Atropic Poison, Nimble Fingers, and Shadowrunner. Row 4, we're taking Fleet-Footed and Subterfuge. In row 5, we're taking Deadened Nerves and Tight Spender. In row 6, we are taking Deadly Precision, 2 points, Thesis Versatility, 2 points, and Night Stalker, 2 points. Now, as you can see, the left side of the tree is where this stuff starts to change. So, row 8, we are taking Vigor, 1 point, Improved Ambush, 1 point. We're taking Leeching Poison this time, and Alacrity, 2 points, and Soothing Darkness. We are then in row 9 taking Seal Fate, 2 points. We're taking Deeper Stratagem and Find the Weakness. And in the final row, we are taking Thistle Tea for that extra energy regeneration and Shadow Dance. As you can see, this side of the tree changes very much. This is more to keep our energy bars up and our damage consistent when it's single target. On the right side of the tree, the Outlaw side, things don't change too much, but I will cover them just to be sure that you guys know what has changed. So we start with Opportunity and Blade Flurry, of course. In the second row, we go Grappling Hook, Weapon Master, Combat Potency, and Hit and Run this time for that extra movement speed. In row 3, we go Combat Stamina and Adrenaline Rush. In row 4, we're taking Ruthlessness, Restless Blades, and Fatal Flourish. In row 5, we're taking Heavy Hitter, Devious Stratagem, Roll the Bones, and Quick Draw. In row 6, we're taking Audacity, Loaded Dice. In row 7, we are taking 2 points Triple Threat, 2 points Count the Odds this time, not 1, 2 points, and 2 points Improved Main Gouge. And here is where the talents really change. So from Blade Rush to Ghostly Strike, we want to take Ghostly Strike for a single target, and from Precise Cuts to Killing Spree. These are the 2 single target talents. Then we're going to go into row 9 with Taken by Surprise, 2 points, and 2 points into Find the Hammer, and finally Hidden Opportunity. These are your raiding single target talents. The only boss you'll be changing using talents for is Zakili, Assault of Zakili. It starts AoE and finishes with single target. So your Mythic dungeon build will be fine to use for that. Now, I hope these talents help. They will provide you with great DPS throughout this season. If anything changes, of course, I will update this. Now, enchants and gems are up next in the guide. Now, for both weapons, we're going to want Sophic Devotion. I'm going to show everything on screen right now above me. So, Sophic Devotion for your main weapons. If you can't afford that, Sophic Writ can be of use. For your cloak, you want Graceful Avoidance or Writ of Avoidance. For your chest, you want Waking Stats or Accelerated Agility. Belt, you want Shadow Belt Clasp. No matter what, this is what you want on your belt. Next, for braces, you want Devotion of Avoidance or Writ of Avoidance. On your legs, you want the Fierce Armor Kit or the Reinforced Armor Kit. And for your boots, you want your Watcher's Loam. No matter what, you want Watcher's Loam on the boots. Now, for your rings, you can sim this. I think simming is very important when it comes to what you put on your rings and what stats need to be brought up realistically. But a safe bet is the Devotion of Versatility on both rings. Now for gems, what gems do you want to put in your gear? So for your Primalist gem, you want the Resplendent Illimited Diamond. Other gem slots should be a combination of the Radiant Alexstrasite, which is crit based versatility gem, or the versatility and crit gem, depending on what you need to bring up more in your stat priors. Remember what we spoke about at the start. So crit, versatility, or verse crit, depending on what you need to do. Again, everything on screen above me. Now let's move into consumables. What consumables do rogues use? Now what consumables are from your flasks to your potions to the food to what you can do to really prep and up your damage before a boss fight or before a dungeon. So flasks, you want to be going with the Phial of Glacial Fury because this just improves your AoE, or Tepid Versatility to bring up that versatility bonus. Both of similar value, and it makes you survive more. That versatility one, that is, and it's genuinely cheaper. But normally, Glacial Fury is your go-to. Next up, for your pre-pots or potions during a fight, you're going to be looking at the Elemental Potion of Ultimate Power. Now, these can be brought very easily at any rank now, so choose what you can afford, but you should always be using these on boss packs, big pools, whatever you want to use them on to really pump that DPS extra to really get up there and destroy the target that you're on. Also, you want to be always carrying refreshing healing potions. Save the healer some effort, save yourself from getting one shot. Now use these potions. And then for your weapon, depending on what you're rolling, you probably want to go with the Buzzing Rune put on both of your weapons to increase its crit. Also, if you can, roll the Draconic Augment Rune. And finally, for food, you're going to be wanting to take the Grand Banquet of Kalawuk. These are fairly cheap now, so I'll just grab one of these and do your whole party a favor. They will love you for it, so use that for your food. Now, what gear should we be aiming for going into Season 2 from raids and from dungeons? Now, of course, we want to always be aiming for our tier set. The Outlaw Rogue tier set is a little bit lackluster this season. It's okay, and it's obviously going to improve your damage, but it's just okay. Now the 2 set, I'll show it on screen right now. Soul Rip, all damage you deal applies Soul Rip, which deals 5% of all damage you deal to happen over 8 seconds. So it's just a little bit of a boost in damage that acts over like a dot. Then we have Soul Reap for the 4 set. Between the eyes consumes all active Soul Reap, dealing 200% of the remaining damage and granting you 5% agility for 15 seconds. So realistically, it's just big chunks of damage or overtime damage depending on what you have, but they have one of the best looking tier sets out of any class. I'll show it on screen right now. It is just pure juice. Now, trinkets, rings, weapons, what can we be aiming for in that regard? Now, trinkets, single target trinkets. What are we using? Up on the screen is Blood Mallet, a sim site where we can see what works for single target. Now, at the top, by far, we have the Dragonfire Bomb Dispenser, which drops from Skarn. Close second is the Beacon to the Beyond, which drops from the last boss, Sarkareth, in the raid. Then we have the Dark Moon deck. These sim weird, and if you can get them at a higher level, they sometimes are really strong, but they also sometimes have negative effects. So, I would aim for Dragonfire Bomb Dispenser, Beacon of the Beyond. Then below that, I would aim for Homeland Raidhorn, which comes from Uldum, and the Mark of Dargul, which comes from Naltharian's Lair. So next up is the rotation. On screen, I'm going to be showing the Mythic plus rotation, show your AoE rotation. The event tracker is on the right side of the screen. You can see everything I'm doing in real time from there. And the voiceover is going to provide you with some key by key steps on how to perform this rotation and how to best perform on the Outlaw Rogue. Now, Outlaw Rogue has a very simple rotation in my opinion, as in the AoE one just requires you to have Blade Flurry active, and then it's just builders, spenders, trinkets, procs, and the single target is very simple. You just don't use Blade Flurry really, and there's a few changes here in the talent trees. So for the Outlaw multi-target rotation Mythic Plus, we're starting with Stealth. Make sure our poisons are on, and as always, before pre-pull or during, you want to Adrenaline Rush into Roll the Bones. So this keeps 3 enhancements active at all times. Blade Flurry always, I'll throw this on the screen as I'm talking, Blade Flurry always on between the eyes on your main target, as this provides a debuff. You want this at max, or if you have the enhancement -1 combo point, you want Slice and Dice active at max or -1 combo points, and make sure it's always up. If you have 12 seconds or less remaining, then keep that back up. You want to dispatch at max, or if the enhancement is active, at -1, and you want a Cold Blood always before a dispatch. If you've got it up, line up Cold Blood with dispatch. Shadow Dance at or below 3 combo points, and do not have Audacity or Opportunity active, and wait until you have at least, I would say, around 80 energy. While active, Ambush becomes your highest builder, so not Sinister Strike anymore. Now, as I was saying, the single rotation looks very similar to the AoE one without the use of Roll the Bones. The only thing we're adding in is Thistle Tea when our energy is below 50 or less, and we are making sure Ghostly Strike does not expire from the target, as it provides another debuff for you. Now, the most important thing are your Roll the Bones enhancements. You can get lucky, you can get really unlucky with this, but this is what it's going to look like in order of best to worst. I'll show it on screen too. True Bearing, Skull and Crossbones, Broadside, Ruthless Precision, Buried Treasure, and Grand Melee in that order. And there it is, guys, our first video back on our amazing Outlaw Rogue. Now, as I was saying, Outlaw isn't as strong as it once was, but it still holds up its own in dungeons and single target raiding. It is a very good spec, a very fun spec, and look, the armor is just beautiful as well, especially the raid armor from this season. I want to thank you so much for sticking with me through these months. It's so good to be back. I'm going to try uploading more frequently with news, even more guides, everything you need. If you have any questions, please don't be afraid to ask. We're going to be going through this together, and I'm going to be hoping to help as many people as I can get to the point where they can enjoy and play their classes. If you do want to see more of me, I'm currently playing Final Fantasy Online through on stream at the moment over at twitch.tv/BiggieSweats. Normally, anytime between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. BST, I go live all the way through the night. I'll chuck it up on screen right now. I want to thank you once again for being awesome. If you made it through to the end of this video, you are a true legend, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.